By Fleetway Market. Fuel up your car and cooler at Fleetway this football season.
Let's go.
All right, so game day is in Athens as Georgia will host Arkansas. So Reese Davis and the crew in Athens, Georgia, not in T-Town, as Georgia will host Arkansas and Bama will host Ole Miss. Wild that the two coaches have coached under the coaches they'll be facing this weekend. Sam Pittman under Kirby Smart. Lane Train, Mr. Rat Poison, has coached under Nick Saban. We want to welcome in our friend Ryan Fowler, 109 The Game afternoon drive. He joins us on the Modelo guest line. Ole Miss fans are pretty confident over here, Ryan Fowler. You ready for the Lane Train coming in town?
We are ready for the Lane Train coming to town. And, I got it. The same thing I told you a couple of weeks ago. See, I don't know if Ole Miss really wants to win this game. Ole Miss fans need to be pulling for Alabama just to absolutely beat Lane Kiffin by 3 touchdowns.
Oh.
Because if he comes over here and wins, he's out of there, right? He's probably going right back to the NFL or back to the West Coast or, one of those high-profile jobs. Ole Miss fans need to pull for Alabama in this game. They don't need to pull for Ole Miss.
I see what you're doing there, Fowler.
No, think about it. Think about it just for a minute now. I mean, if Ole Miss – be honest with me, Bo.
Okay.
Ole Miss cannot keep Lane Kiffin if he consistently wins, correct?
I wouldn't think so.
Yes. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Ole Miss needs to pull for Alabama this weekend.
Oh.
They need to pull for the side. I mean, because if they want – because, you trade success, okay? Would you rather have one and done and then maybe you could make it to Atlanta and win an SEC title, but then he's out. He's gone. So you trade 1 year if you have a successful season.
They do that. To get to the college football playoff? Yeah.
Yeah. Or just take 8 wins and say, hey, we'll do 7 and 8, 9 wins every now and then, and we'll keep this guy forever.
No. They're thinking college. The way the league is set up this year, and it's down, as you know, Auburn, A&M, and LSU are down. I'm not sold on Georgia. And the way that Clemson's down, Ohio State's down, Oklahoma's down, Southern Cal's in disarray. I mean, this is the best opportunity to make a run at the college football playoff, whether you go undefeated or 1 loss or however this shakes out. So, no, they're all in on trying to obviously beat Bama and get to Atlanta and see if they can make the college football playoff, man.
And they do have that empty trophy cabinet, so they need to fill that thing up. And that's the way to do it. Yeah, no, I mean, hey, I'm with you. Okay, all right. Hey, can I brag on Southern Miss before we get back deep into this game?
Sure.
All right. Southern Miss, and I know it's a hard program. It's tough financially. I don't know where they are, but just you look at right now current college football. Did you see what they did Saturday after the game? Like this is a small gesture because I watched them play for 3.5 hours. I thought they were a classy program, really respectful to one another. Just good sportsmanship. I mean, they're going up against. They know it's there for a payday. And what they did after the game, they cleaned the entire locker room. After they left, the visitor locker room, which is absolutely a disaster after all games. After all games. I mean, it is like a disgusting filth of just disgusting. Southern Miss cleaned the entire visitor locker room before they left.
That's impressive.
I just thought it was, Southern Miss, be patient. You guys will get back to where you were maybe a few years. Just give it time. Give it time. I mean, that's just something. And you said, come on, guys. It takes 30, 40 minutes, whatever it took. it's just a nice gesture to say, you know what, we're headed in the right direction.
That's cool.
Just
Will
wanted to
Hall's
say
the
that.
coach there. He's a good guy, good coach, and I hope they get back rolling. What's going on with Alabama's running game? What's happening there? What do you see?
All right. So let me give you an evaluation, a complete evaluation. How are offensive linemen graded currently in high school athletics? Everything's based around the pass. Everything is based on 7-on-7 camps. They grade offensive linemen, the publications, Rivals, 247 Sports, wherever. They evaluate these guys on 7-on-7 offensive lineman drills. In shorts now, not in pads, in shorts. This is a really decent pass-blocking offensive line. They're not very good at smashing people in the mouth. They're just not very good at pushing people around. But in fairness to them, their evaluation has come based on pass protection. And so I think when you look at this team, they're still getting that going. Now, I wonder if it's there, if Bill O'Brien – this is the key part of the game. And I was just aggravating Ole Miss fans a couple of minutes ago. I think it's going to be a great college football. This is why we do what we do to get a chance to cover this. And it's not about Bill O'Brien versus Lane Kiffin. Okay? It's not. It's about Alabama versus – do I call them Mississippi just to make it matter? Ole Miss. Okay. Alabama versus Mississippi. Okay. So it's not about Lane Kiffin against Bill O'Brien. Okay. It's about – because think about novelty play callers. If Bill O'Brien tries to live up to Lane Kiffin, he'll lose. Lane Kiffin's the best play caller I've ever been around. Don't try to be it. Don't try to make it against coordinator, where you try to outdo one another and look at our skill set of drawing up plays. Let it play complementary football. If you play a little smash mouth football, I'm not convinced that Ole Miss can stop the run. They played Louisville, they played Austin Peay, and they played Tulane. And all those teams have been behind by a country mile. Mm-hmm. So you would think that they would be trying to throw the football. Ole Miss is 10th in the league in stopping the rush. Not very good. If Bill O'Brien will not make it about him and make it about helping that defense, because the best way to stop that Lane Kiffin explosive, Matt Corral offense is to keep them on the sidelines.
Right.
And I think you do that with long drives. And I'm not saying that you do that forever because you're going to have to score points to win, but you at least get a couple of possessions reduction where you play this game somewhere in the 40s. Because if this thing gets in the 50s, to me it really favors the group in Oxford. So Bill O'Brien, it's not about you against Lane Kiffin. It's about Alabama against Ole Miss.
All right. Ryan Fowler, 109 The Game, T-Town, afternoon drive, joins us on the Modelo guest line. What do you think Bryce Young is like a lot better since week one, or how would you describe his game from week one against Miami to going through the Southern Miss game?
All right, I've always been up front with you in every quarterback evaluation. I've told you players that I took a lot of criticism for saying that Tua was better than Jalen, and I'm going to tell you, this is my opinion. I think Bryce Young will walk out of here as Nick Saban's best quarterback. I think he's that good. And I think he's playing with not the stars that Mac Jones, Tua, or Jalen. A.J. McCarron, two-time national championship. The ring speaks for itself. I think he won 3. I know he did. He won 3 as a player, 1 as a backup, 2 as a starter. But I think he'll walk out Nick Saban's best quarterback. I see something in this kid is just unrattled, and he's got the skill set. Watch him on Saturday. Not that Ole Miss will put any pressure on him, but if he does get any pressure, watch his eyes. He never leaves down the field. He never loses his focus. He never tucks his tail and just runs and tries to avoid the pressure. He'll avoid it. He'll sidestep it. But it's just part of the process, the way that he evaluates. He continues to go through his progressions and reads. The throw that he threw on Saturday he was 21 of 22, and if he would have been less accurate with the football, he would have hit that one pass. And so he missed it because he hit the guy so hard in his numbers that it bounced up and it was an interception. So this guy's pretty good. And he's working with a limited offensive line because this is not even though they're better at pass protection than they are at run blocking, there's no Landon Dickerson out there. There's no, and to me that may be the weakness at that middle, or maybe Chris Owens at that right tackle spot. The guards are okay, but they're not, but he didn't have the offensive line that the other guys have had. He doesn't have a Najee Harris back there, but he's got a supplement, a lot of different guys back there that maybe you could equal out to, a great running back. I mean, I don't know if they have an elite running back like they've had in the past. So then you look at wide receivers. I think Jamison Williams has a chance to be a special player, and I think his speed was showcased against Southern Miss, and maybe that's more, people will start having to bracket it in to maybe get some, safety over the top to give him some help, because you're not if you try to cover this guy off the line of scrimmage, he's going to kill you. I mean, he just got that type of speed. So he doesn't have the wide receivers that these other guys have had in the past. So I think Bryce Young will walk out of Tuscaloosa, if nothing happens injury-wise, as Nick Saban's best quarterback. I think he's that good.
Okay. Ryan Fowler, 109 the game, T-Town on the Out of Bounds show.
Yeah,
let's go back to running backs.
Okay, yeah.
No,
okay.
you go ahead.
Okay. No, I was going to say, I see a lot of people negative about Bryce Young, and I just don't understand it. Like, I see people on social networks. We haven't had any call into the show, but I do see people not being as complimentary of Bryce Young as they've been in the past. But go back to running backs.
All right, Brian Robinson, will he be healthy for Alabama this weekend?
Well, Nick Saban said he was day-to-day. Monday's a cleanup day. Tuesday's a very important practice because it's run install and then pass install on Wednesday. They tie it all together with a big game plan on Thursday. So today's a big day for Brian Robinson if he's going to be able to go. And I expect that he knows all that. But the one thing about him is he's the best picking up at the pass protection as far as blitzing and stuff like that. So I think that's where Brian is. Roydell Williams had a great game against Southern Miss, understanding it's the opponent, but Alabama needed something to happen in that rushing attack to get some confidence. And I thought they did that against me. I almost had 2 100-yard backs. And I think you kind of understand what we were talking about a couple of minutes ago with trying to reduce the time of possession for Lane Kiffin. So the rushing attack is awfully important in this game. And I think Nick Saban probably understands that a lot better than I do.
Yeah.
But you look at Roydell Williams and you think about Brian Robinson. But I don't like if you say Brian Robinson's not going to be able to go, I don't really know if there's that big of a difference between – because the way I see it, it's like as far as quality of back, it's like a 1A, 1B, 1C. There might be a little bit difference as far as picking up some of the blitz packages. Brian Robinson is probably the starter because he can do that. But I think Jace McClellan is just as good of a back. And what we saw from Roydell Williams, Roydell was going to be a player throughout the season. And he fumbled in the first game, and he got Nick Saban's doghouse. And Coach Saban admitted that in the post-game press conference Saturday night. He said, he fumbled at, Miami, and it was something that he had to work his way out of. And so I think Nick Saban wants you to protect the football, but I don't think it's a big a difference. So if Brian's not able to go, yeah, it's key, but I'm not sure how big it is.
Okay. Ryan Fowler, Bama Insider, on the Modelo guest line. We don't think that Pete Golding is anywhere close to a lead as a defensive coordinator. So what is Alabama? Right. Okay. So what is Alabama? What can they do on defense to try to slow down the explosive plays that Kiffin and the offense are generating?
Well, make Matt Corral uncomfortable. It's Will Anderson is a beast. He's everything that he's made out to be as far as preseason stuff for what he did last year, and then now he's taken a different step. And what do they call him, the Terminator? He is a guy that even though it doesn't show up in the stats books, with just sacks and you get quarterback hurries, but just impacting the play. And I noticed something that they were doing Saturday with him that was a little bit different. So he was attacking on the RPO, his mesh point, what he was doing, instead of going after the quarterback or the pitch guy on those RPOs, he was almost like setting back, or he was driving so hard through the running back that he pushed the quarterback back too. So in other words, he's impacting both at that. So whether the quarterback gives on the RPO or he takes and it goes to another option, then Will Anderson was going through the running back and he was impacting both. So even if he gave the running back the ball or he took it back from him, he was still impacting the play. So he was driving through the running back, not just a complete wrap up. So I think that's something to kind of keep an eye on, that I'm not sure if that was an adjustment. Pete Golding has got a lot of talent this year. Henry To'oTo'o is growing into the position. I think he had to do so much at Tennessee. I think now he realizes that, when you look around, you got 10 other 5-stars out there that can help you. You don't have to be the every single part of the defensive element up in Knoxville that you hear. You just have to play your role. You don't have to be sideline to sideline guy. Just stay in your gap and your responsibility. And that will be so key, against Ole Miss on Saturday. So when you look at Pete Golding, he needs to have the game plan of his life to be able to slow this offense down.
How confident are you in that?
I'm not. I think that Ole Miss is going to score some points.
Yeah.
But I think it needs to go back. That's why I think Bill O'Brien can help his defensive coordinator out. And I know Lane Kiffin would probably want to come in and run, 85, 90 plays, maybe more. And it's his first trip back to Tuscaloosa. I'm sure he would love to, find a way to prove it. He's had 2 weeks to prepare. But I question that defensive side of the football for those guys. They played limited opponents, and those points, they've scored points. And I just wonder, is that defense in Oxford really that much better from what it was last year? Yeah, I think it's improved, but how much? I think we'll find out that Saturday afternoon too.
Okay, well, Ryan Fowler, Roll Tide Insider, 109 The Game in T-Town, joins us on the Out of Bounds show and the Modelo guest line on a Taco Tuesday. Describe Lane Kiffin and Nick Saban's relationship, that, how it ended and everything. Ron?
Well, Lane Kiffin got off the tracks. And I think he tried to – listen, okay, if I told you that Lane Kiffin had full attention for the 3 years that he was here, I'd be lying, okay? So it wasn't like it really got off the tracks the last 7 days. It was he had already accepted a job at Florida Atlantic. I think the responsibility of having to be the Alabama – because Alabama coach is demanding. I don't know if you watched last night with Eli and Peyton. At 9:30 last night, Nick Saban's still in the office.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he does. But that's in June he does this. It doesn't – I've talked to you about it before. He never leaves that football building. Well, that's not really Lane Kiffin's personality. Lane Kiffin makes up on Saturday where he didn't have to work as hard Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Not saying he doesn't work hard, but his play calling ability allows him to cut some corners. Well, when you add the Florida Atlantic responsibility, I just don't think he could do both. I think it was so much that it was a juggle, and I think some of that responsibility was lacking at Alabama, and I think Nick Saban, his ego got involved. Yes, I said it. Nick Saban's ego got involved.
No doubt.
Because to me, if you keep because I think what Nick said is he said, I can win this championship regardless of who's the offensive coordinator. That's what he said in his mind. And he said, I'm going to move on. And I think it was a very selfish decision from Nick Saban. And I think it cost him a championship.